Hospitality sector in Durban is on edge as new cases of Covid-19 continue to rise. The coastal city usually sees a high number of tourists from within and outside South Africa at this time of year. But the ongoing pandemic threatens the local tourism sector for a second season. Our reporter Nkosikhona Duma is tracking the story. He joins us now live. Nkosikhona, what are hospitality sector stakeholders saying about this sudden surge in Covid numbers?
Well, good morning, Hugo. I mean, as you can tell by my attire, I'm actually on the Durban beachfront. It's a festive mood here, and that's what, members of the hospitality sector are telling us. They are actually saying that, it's been a difficult 2 years amid the COVID-19 pandemic, and they were hoping that this year they would actually get a break. Now, with the emerging, Omicron variant, as well as rising COVID-19 cases, they are indeed anxious about what the future holds, because this particular period is one that generates a lot of income for, coastal cities like Durban. But I now want to talk to Mr. Sam Johnson, who's of course one of the managers of Joe Cool's restaurant right on the beachfront. Mr. Johnson, you are detailing to us some of the concerns you have as the hospitality sector amid COVID-19.
Yes, some of the problems that we're having is people, they're not following the rules and regulations of this COVID-19. As you can see around the beach, people are not wearing masks, and it raises a big concern, because the numbers are rising now, and really it puts a lot of people's lives at risk.
Well, as a restaurant manager here on the Durban beachfront, can you tell us about some of the measures that you're putting in place, of course, to ensure that there is limited infections of people while they're enjoying drinks and meals at this particular premises?
All our customers here are practicing social distancing, and when they enter, nobody is allowed to come inside the place without a mask. And we sanitize and therefore take temperatures and stuff like that.
Well, what would you say are your concerns, of course, going into the festive season? We know that previously, when COVID-19 cases rise up and we see an increase in hospitalizations, government usually resorts, of course, to lockdown regulations. But as the hospitality sector, what do you think could be implemented for this year?
If only everyone could get vaccinated. Vaccination is the best option that people have. And we encourage people to go and vaccinate. In that sense, then at least the numbers would decrease. With the festive season now that's happening now here, with the number of people that are coming to the beaches, really it is a concern to us. If only people would just follow the rules and regulations and go get vaccinated. Yeah.
And then going forward, then what would you say is, the plan for this year's festive season? I mean, it shouldn't be just doom and gloom. What you're talking to your colleagues right here on the beachfront. Yeah. What does the city actually promise for this year?
Now, if they can at least encourage people that are walking around without masks, make sure people have masks. Even if they have to enforce the fining system, at least people will be safer that way. And it is a concern to us as the numbers are rising now. We fear that the government might just close us down. And, once that is happened, people's livelihoods are taken away, you know what I mean? There's no incomes coming in. And, yeah, it is a great concern for us, yeah.
No, thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. Well, Hugo, that was Mr. Sam Johnson. He's, of course, a restaurant manager here in the beachfront, and he's obviously emphasizing, of course, the importance of people getting vaccinated, so that, of course, there's lesser risk of transmission or even severe illness. He's saying that as the hospitality sector, one, of course, of their concerns is a possible lockdown where they are closed up. He's saying that, of course, could have a negative impact on the livelihoods of those who work in the hospitality sector. I will tell you, my colleague and I, Lungelo Zungu, when we were making our way to this particular beach, we saw, an unusual number of Metro Police being placed on the beachfront. We saw some stop and searches operating, And of course, this is in line with the measures that were recently announced by the eThekwini municipality, saying that of course they are ready for the festive season despite, the challenges of COVID-19. Law enforcement is operational. There are lifeguards on the beach, and those people will be of course entrusted to help in keeping law and order during the festive season. Of course, that is if the country does not go into more lockdown restrictions that could result in people being prohibited, of course, from engaging in leisure on the beachfront.
Our reporter Nkosikhona Duma coming to us from the beaches of Durban, where I'd certainly rather be, and giving us an update on the current state of affairs and as far as preparedness is concerned, and some of the fears around the rising COVID-19 numbers. Nkosikhona Duma, thank you for your time this morning.